It's an honor to have you here. If you want to start a journey of personal transformation together with Sadhguru, click on the link in the description of this video and learn more.
Pranavayu is generally in charge of your respiratory action and thought process. Well, if this happens, inertia will come into the body. Your prana between the navel and the pit of the throat will not function as it should. Your respiratory action and your thought process and your sense of smell will get lowered. These three are very vital for you to be a vibrant human being. See, there are various movements within the body. What these vayus means is, because they move everything in the system, your fresh food is for the uncivilized. If you're very civilized, you must go to a superstore, buy a box, it has a plastic.
Enough parameters clearly telling you that this is built for vegetarian diet. We started eating non-vegetarian diet for survival. When survival was an issue, you eat whatever is available. It is not a moral issue, it's not a religious issue, it's not a philosophical stuff. It is just a question of what kind of fuel gets the best out of a particular machine. If you have a petrol motorcycle, you can put partially diesel, it'll still go, but you think you can race it? So the question is just this, what kind of life do you want to live? Do you want to live at the peak or you somehow want to survive? If you somehow want to survive, eat whatever the hell you want, what is the problem? But if you want to live at the optimum level, you want your body and your brains to function at its best, there is a certain way to eat. If you're conscious, you will see your body will function at a different level altogether. Because food is just fuel, it's not religion. You don't have to believe it, you just have to experiment with it. If you eat vegetarian diet, you have to eat consciously. You must make sure there's substantial variety.
Nutrition just does not mean just verifiable facts. Nutrition is about that which supports your life. So in those terms, the millets have a certain power to support human body in many different ways. Millets have the highest level of protein content among all cereals, and the calcium content, iron content and many micronutrients which you will not find in regular commercial wheat and rice that largely populations are consuming today. So particularly in Karnataka, just about 40 years ago, every home had ragi diets. Ragi mudde is very popular and ragi can be made into so many things. Ragi ambali was a constant thing for children growing up, and ragi dosa, ragi roti, all these are very popular things. Just about anything that you can do with rice, you can also do with ragi, but we have fallen into one cereal trap, shifting at least 50% to millet diet. Even if you cannot go 100% because of travel and other things, even shifting 50%, you will see three things. One thing is your general health and level of energy will be way higher than what you're experiencing right now. Next thing is, you can consume much less food and still be energetic and maintain your weight levels. In terms of millets, one important thing is they are slow release, your sugar values will not go up suddenly, it's a slow release process, and with less food, you will not feel hungry for long periods of time, which is a very good thing to do. This is very easy. Those of you who tend to fast and try to balance your diet by doing fastings and intermittent fastings and things like that, you will see millet is most supportive for that kind of lifestyle. And above all, millet is closely connected to the land in which you live. It is a natural aspect of the land, and that is the best thing to consume, because the land, the soil and your body are not three different things, they are one and the same. Will we get this now? Or will we get this only when we are buried? This is the only question. So millets should be brought into our lives. Every responsible citizen should do this for the well-being of their own health and well-being, and for the well-being of the country and the world and the ecological diversity of the planet. And especially if you have growing children, millet is a must.
One great advantage with green is it gives you iron and it gives you a lot of fiber, which makes the passage of food easy in the system. The protoplasm in the leaf, which is what gives it the green color, you can never digest that if you eat it raw. If you cook it, you can digest it partially. Only certain aspects of the green leaf you can absorb, rest of it just goes waste. But it serves another purpose, that is, the fiber is one thing. And if sufficient green leaf is eaten, even uncooked green leaf, if it's eaten, it works like a brush. It takes away the mucus in your digestive tract. You have seen, if you have dogs or cats at home, once in a way they will eat grass. That is not their diet. But they eat this so that mucus is cleaned up. They are all conscious enough to know when their system is loaded with mucus. Human beings, too much mucus here, so they're not able to notice it. Otherwise, you're supposed to notice it. One of the most important aspects of eating the green is it ensures that unnecessary impurities don't remain in the body. So it needs at least 24 hours or at least 18 to 20 hours before it can work like that. So if you eat greens, you must eat early in the day so that next day it works as a good laxative and it clears up everything. So if you eat it in the night, you don't benefit from that. You must eat it early in the day.
You know very well, the most easily digestible food is fruit. Digestion means Jataragni, the digestive fires as they are known. If these fires have to burn most effectively, fruit is definitely the best thing. So fruit can do miraculous things to the body. Sufficient consumption of fruit can do great things to the system. One can become very alive and active, no matter what is your lifestyle. But if you're doing very menial kind of job, let's say you're digging outside every day physically, not with a machine, but you're physically digging and doing very hard work, then you may find every 2 hours you get hungry because of the fruit. Because there is only that much volume you can eat, but it gets digested so rapidly that you may feel empty stomach. Till you come to a certain level of awareness where you are able to be empty stomach and still be energetic, because hunger is about running out of energy. It's like you're running out of battery, that's why you need to eat. But today, a lot of people, or most people I would say, when they feel little empty in the stomach, they feel like eating. To get out of this, you need a little bit of awareness that you're empty stomach, but still you're okay, because you're energetic. When your energy starts dipping, you eat. So if you go on a total fruit diet, you may have to either spend little more time on the lunchtime and eat slowly so that you ingest enough fruit. Because with little fruit you will feel full because it's generally sweet. So one has to wait and slowly eat. There is also a bio clock within us that, let us say, your normal meal, cooked meal, you're taking 10-12 minutes to eat. Even if you eat fruit, by the time you reach 10-12 minutes, your body says you've eaten enough. So you have to consciously eat more, because it is timing you, it is not looking at the fill, it's just timing you. When those 10-12 minutes are gone, you feel you're full. So one has to go beyond that and consume enough. But if you're only on fruit diet and physically very active, it is important that maybe you bring 3 meals into your day and most of you may already be doing it. So, 3 times a day, if you're sleeping 6 hours or 8 hours or whatever, for the remaining hours, 16 to 18 hours, 3 times eating is more than enough if you're eating fruit. But stomach will feel empty within 2 hours' time. So you must get used to hanging on with high energy but empty stomach. This is the time your brain works best. This is the time as a human being you function best, it'll be good for you. So if you want to use your brain power and also physical activity, it'll work perfectly well. Yes, fruit will make a wonderful difference, especially in today's world, it's very important because we value a human being in the work areas, I'm saying. We value a human being for their brain power. So, for this, fruit will make a huge difference for sure. And ecologically, it's the most sensible thing to do.
You will see your body and your brain will work at its best when your stomach is empty. If food is constantly being processed in your digestive system, a certain amount of energy naturally is gone there, so both your brain and body will not function at their best. You may not feel lethargy because you're eating small meals, but you cannot stop the digestive process. When digestive process happens for every other animal after they eat, they sit down. They just sit down because there is not enough energy for other things. Whether carnivorous or herbivorous animals, after they eat, they sit down. And that is a natural need within a human being also. After he eats, he would like to sit down because there is not enough energy for other things. Now you think by eating small meals through the day, you can be active throughout the day. You can be, but not at your full potential. If you want to be at your full potential, you must keep your body and your metabolism of the body in such a way, whatever you eat, within 1.5 to 2.5 hours, your stomach must be empty. This is what yoga always insists. Within an hour and a half to 2, your stomach should be empty. Stomach being empty does not mean hunger. Only when the energy levels run down, you feel hunger. Otherwise, stomach must be empty. Only when the stomach is empty. Stomach means stomach bag, the food would have moved to other areas of the intestine. In the intestine, the process is very different. That's not digestion, that's assimilation. There it doesn't take much energy. It's a digestive process. When the food is in the stomach bag, at that time it's best you keep your activity at low. Now throughout the day, if there's food in the stomach, then you bring down your whole potential of life. One more aspect. When there is food in the stomach, when the digestive process is happening, the excretory system shuts down almost. 80% of it shuts down. When I say excretory system, it's on the cellular level. The purification of the body is happening, that will shut down, at least 80%. Or in other words, all the impurities which had to move out of the system will not move out, which will create various problems for you over a period of time. And if you eat at different times, even your excretory system from the intestines will not happen efficiently for you because the waste matter doesn't come at a certain time into the colon. It will come at different times. So you will have problem with that also. So throughout the day, your colon also won't be clean. Colon not being clean means you're asking for problems. Your colon should be clean always. In yoga, there's enormous importance to this. In any of the traditional systems, you will see, if you go to an Ayurvedic doctor or a Siddha Vaidya or anybody, first thing is he'll purge you because he knows that most of your problems are because of unclean colon. And the way people are eating today, keeping the colon clean is going to be a big challenge for them. Suppose you eat one big meal, like we normally do, one big meal, and either we don't eat anything else or if we are too active, maybe we eat a fruit or something, you will see your colon will always remain clean. And people should try this, they must purge themselves one day and see how it feels.
suddenly there is something light and beautiful about you. Every day that's how you're supposed
We
to
have
feel.
moved, Western countries particularly have moved strongly towards food processing. Right now, India is making huge steps to set up food processing industries because food is a perishable item and people want to store it and use it tomorrow. So, as a policy, as a philosophy, as a social consciousness, we must understand that eating food in its fresh condition is the best way to eat. But there are extraneous situations in one's lives where you could be in places where such a thing is not possible, then processed food and frozen foods are okay. But on a daily basis, if we are consuming this, we will come to lots of troubles. You know, in the yogic philosophy, always it's like this, if you have to eat a vegetable, it should be plucked today from the plant. Within a few hours it must be cooked. Once it is cooked, within a maximum of 90 minutes you must consume. You never eat old food because all living things, food is a living thing. If it is not living, it wouldn't support us. It is the basis or is the life-making material for us, it's not just another product. So, all of it is moving from life to death or from death to regenerating to life. This is happening all the time at every level of life. The whole process that we call as life is a cycle between life and death. We refer to life as a dynamic process, death as inertia. If one becomes inert right now, if we poke them and they become active, then we say they were sleeping. If one becomes inert, if you poke them, they don't wake up, but with lot of medical attention they wake up, then we say they were unconscious or they were comatose. But if one becomes inert and whatever we do, if they do not come back, then we say they are dead. So essentially, death is inertia. Everything in life is constantly battling between dynamism versus inertia. So we call this inertia as tamas. So once you allow food to stay, especially cooked food, if it remains for a period of time, then it gathers inertia. You may not feel anything, it's just that your sleep quota may improve. That is, you may sleep for more number of hours and everybody is going about saying that the more you sleep, the more healthy you are. Of course because if you sleep through your life, you may be healthy, but you just may not have a life. Right now it's being recommended, everybody should sleep for minimum 8 hours for health and well-being. 8 hours means it's 1/3 of our life we must sleep to be healthy. This is lot of servicing to be done for any machine. If it's of any good quality, it should not need that much of maintenance. But right now, one important thing is, food is contaminated. When I say contamination, it is not only that it is poisoned by somebody by intent, no, it is contaminated by lacking the necessary nourishment in it, and most of the time the food that people are eating, buying from a supermarket may be a month, 2 months or 3 months old, and even they bring it home and again it stays there. And today there are many studies to show this, because I'm particularly stressing on the fresh food, because using processed food and food with very high level of inertia within it causes constipation. Today, many universities are studying this and they are saying constipation and cognition issues are very related. But there have been certain publications which we've been going about saying this Victorian idea of emptying your bowels on a daily basis is not really necessary. If your bowel movement happens once or twice a week, it is good enough. Well, these are dangerous things to say, it is just that you may not die, but everything will decline in the body if waste material stays in the body for too long. You eating highly processed food, very large percentage of meat in the food, all these things will bring constipation, and today world is suffering from various kinds of psychological derangements, and cognitive decline is a huge challenge in people over 50, 60 years of age. The neuronal regeneration and cognition levels can be greatly enhanced by just changing the way we eat, and the system will not degenerate at the pace at it will, because the regeneration process will be very high if the food has a certain level of sattva or a certain level of aliveness within itself.
There is a lot of evidence accumulating that Parkinson's starts in the gut, and that the microbes have a big role in first interacting with the enteric nervous system, the little brain we have in the gut. You know, and in Alzheimer's disease, it's equally complex. But there's now pretty strong evidence that these interactions between our gut and the microbes that live in it, and then you can extend this further, and the kind of food we eat and the environment where we grow this food in, that there is this connection to some of the most serious diseases that we're going to be facing in the next 50 years, because people are getting older and the prevalence rate for these chronic neurodegenerative diseases is increasing.
Not only this, how we consume food also becomes an important aspect. If we do not take necessary attention as to how we address the food that we eat, this also has impact. There are some wonderful studies in some of the United States universities showing this. This is way back probably in mid-80s when they made this study. Different groups of rabbits were fed with very high cholesterol food. They wanted to see if they will develop cardiac problems and stuff. And when they checked them, all of them had developed cardiac issues except one group of rabbits. Then they started studying this group, what was so special about them. Genetically they were the same, in every way they were the same level of activity, but they were not affected. Then they discovered that one person who was this group of rabbits always spoke to them, whistled at them, talked to them, petted them, and then they gave or whatever else he gave. And these rabbits were happy. Because they were happy when they were consuming, the cholesterol content in the food did not affect them. So this is something we must know, how we address the food, because there is an intelligence within us which builds this whole body. This body and brains was built from inside. The bread that we consume becomes body and brains, so there is an intelligence like this. To be in touch with that, to address everything from that reflection will make a huge difference. So what kind of food we consume, where we consume, how we consume, how we are when we consume, all these things have an impact upon food. I know only some aspects of it can be handled by regulation, rest has to be by human consciousness, but the regulation part of it is equally important, because today food is being handled by massive agencies. When I say agencies, large businesses, very large commercial enterprises, where if they contaminate the food by 1%, they may make billions of dollars. When that kind of proposition is there is always a propensity to contaminate food in various ways, either by aging or by reducing the temperature at which they are stored, or actually adding something to it. All these aspects are there, but the most important aspect is, at the very source it's being contaminated, we have to address that. Contamination is happening at the production level, not only at the production level, even at the base production level, which is soil itself is contaminated. So when we have reached this point in the world, where very source of our life we have managed to contaminate in many different ways or deplete in many different ways, a time has come when regulations upon food definitely should consider the way of production, the means of production, and the source of production has to be brought into this ambit. Today, the nutritional value that is expected out of the food that we consume has gone down significantly. And because we are a market-ruled economy, commercial forces rule us. Because of this, the number of various types of species of plant life that we were consuming has narrowed down to just 12 to 15. Just about 100 years ago, we were consuming anywhere between 200 to 230 species of plant life. Today, most of the population is consuming only 12 to 15 varieties of plant life. This variety is not enough to sustain human life. It's come to a place, everybody has come to the conclusion that without supplements, you cannot really live because food is not good enough. Yes, one part of it is true, food is not good enough unfortunately. This is because soil is not good enough. And when soil is not good enough, we must understand soil, food, body are three variants of the same thing. They are not different. So regulators have to enhance the ambit of regulation and also raise human consciousness to become very conscious about these things so that more than regulation, if the market becomes conscious, it naturally regulates the production units in many different ways. Market rejects anything that is not well produced or is of not good quality, that is also part of it. So regulation should not just remain with making rules and regulations, it should also move towards educating the public in a large-scale public education so that regulation can happen from the market end, from the consumer end, also regulation can happen. If you eat right and do a certain things with your body, you can drop your sleep quota. I'm getting lazy and I'm sleeping, averaging somewhere around 4.5 hours now.
What type of food we should eat so that our life reaches its full potential for a college or a school-going student?
So what kind of food? We must understand this. Food is not a religion, food is not a culture, food is just the fuel for this machine. Yes? There may be cultural aspects to the taste, there may be even religious tinge to the food over a period of time, but essentially food is fuel for this body. So with what kind of food will it function with minimum struggle within itself and maximum impact? So suppose you buy a petrol car and pump diesel into it, it may still roll around but not at its optimum. Similarly, various foods you can eat and still somehow it functions. But those communities which have eaten with care, you can clearly see a distinct difference in the way they function, the levels of intelligence and whatever. So in India, we prescribed food for different people in different way. If you're doing menial jobs, you eat one way because you need physical muscle. If you're doing other kinds of trading and other kinds of activities, you eat another way. If you're a fighting class, you eat differently. And now if you're into education, spiritual process and subtler aspects of life, then you eat differently. If you're in education, one of the greatest challenges is to stay focused on something. The goddamn textbook, I'm sorry. The wonderful textbook that is written for an average intelligence. It's a common prescription. It's not written for the brilliant student. It is written in a way that it's a common prescription, everybody gets it. But that textbook, how much effort it is taking for a whole lot of people? How they have to read it 10 times to get it? But you lie down in your bed and read a love story, you remember every word. Yes or no? How come? So you don't lack memory, you don't lack focus. It is just that textbook and you chemistry is not working. So what you need is a higher level of focus, a higher level of involvement. And another great enemy for a student is, because this textbook is such a tranquilizer, the moment you open it, go to cinema till 2 a.m. you're up, open the textbook at 9 o'clock, right there, you smash into it. So sleep is another big enemy. So what kind of food do you eat so there is no inertia in the body? In yogic way of seeing things, we are looking at tamas, rajas and sattva. Tamas means inertia. Rajas means activity but no balance. Sattva means absolutely balanced kind of energy. When you're in education, you need a very balanced kind of energy because you have to focus on something which doesn't naturally interest you. It's not something with which your chemistry is gelling. If your chemistry is gelling, you are always focused on that one, isn't it? Here there's no chemistry, but you have to focus on that. For this you need a balance and a steady mind. For this you need to eat in a certain way. To put it very simply, food goes through your body through the alimentary canal. From your mouth to your anal outlet, there is a pipe. Through this it runs, going through various stages of digestive process. Many of you are biology people, right? It goes through the alimentary canal. Now it begins with the lip. Here, if you look at this, all the herbivores and carnivores. If you look at the animal kingdom, there are herbivores and carnivores are two main segments of animals in the world. One eats vegetable matter, another eats meat. If you look at the alimentary canal, the way it is built, between herbivores and carnivores, there's a distinct difference. Everything in the human being suggests that you are naturally a herbivore, but for the sake of survival, we became carnivores. If you look at the jaw movement, all the carnivorous animals have only cutting action. Herbivores have cutting and grinding action. There are molars, but carnivores don't have widespread molars, they have just incisors, canines, everything looks like cutting teeth. So they do only this. All the herbivores do grinding. What do you have? Both. So you are supposed to chew your food. Why you are supposed to chew your food is you have enzymes in your saliva where if you take a little bit of raw rice and put it in your mouth just for a minute, you will see it turn sweet right here because right here carbohydrate is being converted into sugar, right here. So if you eat properly, then we say about 30 to 50% of your digestion should happen in your mouth. So this part of the digestive system is expecting half-digested food or partially digested food. But right now the way we're eating is mostly we're putting not only undigested food, but partially destroyed food. So the amount of food that you need to get the same amount of energy has increased. You're eating much more food than what you should eat to generate that much of energy. Because of that, there is inertia in the body, because it has to process so much more food than what it should, there is inertia. Once there is inertia, your sleep quota increases. How many hours do you sleep on? Hello? 8 hours. You're going by the prescription, huh? See, this is not that you must deny yourself sleep, that's not the point. But if you eat right and do a certain things with your body, you see very effortlessly, within 3 to 4 weeks, you can drop your sleep quota anywhere between 2 to 3 hours. 1.5 to 3 hours, very easily you can drop if you just eat consciously and just learn to sit properly, just the posture, your geometry of the body and what goes into the system. If you just manage these two things, you will see sleep quota will just come down like that. Just to tell you, for over 25 years, I have largely managed with an average of 2.5 hours of sleep. Now I'm getting lazy and I'm sleeping, averaging somewhere around 4.5 hours now, but 7 days of the week, okay? 365 days, non-stop, on, almost every day. My daughter didn't call me for a month. I asked, what the hell is the problem with you? Why are you not calling? She said, every 6 hours you're in the new city, what the hell I'm supposed to do? So I said, okay, which is true. In one day, sometimes we're doing 3 cities, so it's a non-stop activity.
And today many people around me have learned to do this. Over 100, 150 people around me are doing this kind of activity, averaging 4 hours sleep and 7 days of the week, they're on, all the time. And they are not irritated, they are not frustrated, they're joyful and they're wonderful. Why this is this? There are many aspects to this, but one important aspect is food, how you eat. Not only what you eat, how you eat is also very important, because food is a live thing. One simple thing all you girls can do is just see various health issues and inertia issue, focus issue, just bring 40 to 50% of the food in its raw form, that means it's alive. It must be a live cell, it can be a vegetable, it can be a fruit, it can be a nut, it can be sprouted gram. At least 40 to 50%, the food that you eat must be alive. You eat dead food and you want to live, this is a little difficult thing to do, because you have to raise the dead now. But if you eat live food, one thing you will see is the state of your mind, your focus and your sleep quotas, and above all, staying awake is not good enough, you have to stay alert, isn't it? How alert you are, how focused you are, only to that extent everything yields to you in this world, isn't it so? What is the level of focus will determine whether the world yields to you or not, isn't it? And one more aspect of life, one more aspect of food is, when you consume something, it must be of a simple genetic code in the sense, it must be a very simple software. Vegetables, fruits, nuts, sprouts, they're very simple. More complicated means animal food becomes more and more complicated. Suppose you eat an animal which has some amount of emotion and a life of its own. Now the code in that… we were talking about this, your body is just an accumulation of memory, which means a certain software, isn't it? This is the most complex software. Human software is the most complex software on the planet of all the creatures. So if you eat an animal, particularly a mammal, if you eat, it has a similar kind of complexity, maybe not as complex as this, similar level of complexity because it has thought and emotion of its own. Now for you to break that code and integrate it into your system, you are not fully successful. So it will leave traces of certain qualities within you. You cannot break that code and make it a part of yours because it's a different and complex code. If you eat a leaf, a vegetable, a fruit, a nut or a sprout, this is much simpler. If you must eat non-vegetarian food, you must eat that which is furthest away from you. So generally, fish and water life is furthest away from you. So if you must eat non-vegetarian food, the best thing to eat is you're on the coast. Fish is the best thing to eat.
Fruit can do miraculous things to the body. Sufficient consumption of fruit can do great things to the system. So if you go on a total fruit diet, stomach will feel empty within 2 hours' time. So you must get used to hanging on with high energy but empty stomach. This is the time your brain works best. This is the time as a human being you function best, it'll be good for you. So if you want to use your brain power and also physical activity, it'll work perfectly well. Especially in today's world, it's very important because we value a human being in the work areas, I'm saying. We value a human being for their brain power, not their brawn power. So, for this, fruit will make a huge difference.
One more substance which could be very good for you and daily consumption is honey. Honey is the only substance found on the planet whose chemical composition is very close to that of human blood. You change a few things, it's almost like blood. Daily consumption of honey can do a lot for your health, especially people who have excess mucus problems. It's very good for your heart, it's good for your brains, it keeps your mind alert, and it's highly energetic. So daily consumption of honey can do a lot, especially if you have growing children. They must consume honey on a daily basis. It'll do a lot for the development of their intelligence and everything, even the ash god. Ash god and honey together will make a wonderful diet for children in terms of enhancing their intellectual capabilities.
Chocolate eaters have a lot of trouble because of the volume of sugar that they're taking in. If you could eat just chocolate, it is a certain kind of stimulant, a very strange kind of stimulant. It has its positive values. Actually, your brains could work. Really, your brains work a little better if you take in cocoa, not with so much sugar. Sugar spoils the whole game. If you just take in cocoa, if you take in cocoa seeds and chew upon it, once you get the hang of it, it's nice. Like chocolate cocoa seeds, if you chew on it, it's very, very good. Pepper, black pepper and the cocoa seeds have something very similar. In India, we use honey and black pepper in combination for variety of problems that people have, and it produces miraculous results. Cocoa also has something. If you can take it without sugar, it's fine, or with minimum sugar, fine.
If you consume
To some extent.
fenugreek or methi as it's known, these seeds are fantastic blood cleansers, good source of protein and vitamins and minerals, very good for lactating mothers, great for hair and nail growth, reduces blood pressure, brings down blood sugar level, lower inflammation. These sprouted fenugreek or methi along with sprouted green gram or moong is very, very good for cognitive health. Those who are over 50 years of age must consume this on a daily basis, otherwise you may not realize, slowly you will like my motorcycle because I'm driving it on extremely low carbon. The same goes for what goes into your stomach, because what goes into your tank will determine how you function. Arugula sprouts, which are microgreens, that means they're baby greens, pack a massive amount of concentrated nutritional punch of antioxidants, vitamins, up to 40 times higher than regular mature greens. Cancer prevention elements are there in it, maintaining very good eye and bone health, boosts immunity, protects liver from damage. These soaked groundnuts, they are not really nuts, they're legumes. They call kadalekai, chenekai in southern India, but the English people called it nuts. They're not really nuts, they're legumes. And soaked raw almonds peeled and soaked raw walnut peeled. The nuts are soaked in water overnight and they are peeled. This eliminates the nutritional inhibitors and other toxic substances as they are absorbed into the water. Without inhibitors and toxic substances, the nutrients of the nuts and seeds are more readily available for absorption. Rich in nutrients and healthy fats, lowers the risk of heart disease and regulates blood sugar levels. They're very good for you, especially if you belong to the same species, I mean. These small balls of turmeric and neem, freshly ground, rich in antioxidants, very rich in vitamin B. There is neem and turmeric balls here and also turmeric decoction. These are very good for taking away the inflammatory markers in your system and to reduce inflammation, I mean. And also, they are great cleansers of your gut if there are any parasites or anything else that you don't need, and the bad bacteria that may be there, and also promotes gut health in a big way. As you know today, medical science is coming back to this, that there is a gut brain. A significant part of your intelligence functions in your gut. It should be, that is, if you can eat a nut or a fruit and it becomes
human flesh and bone, this means there is intelligence out there well beyond your logical intelligence. Black sesame, very rich in antioxidants, rich source of iron, copper, zinc and vitamin B and folate, vitamin E and all these things. Well, I don't look at things like this, but black sesame has been my companion all my life, especially on my trekking trips. When I trekked alone, the roasted black sesame kept me alive and going and energetic throughout. It also does wonders to your cartilage and bone joints, encourages heart health, and it is part of southern Indian tradition during winter time when skin tends to break because of the cold and heat in southern India. At the same time, we consume sesame at that time. There's a whole tradition, especially in Karnataka, where everybody shares sesame with each other's families as an encouragement to consume sesame seeds because skin health will be very good. Inside out, I mean. Sesame is also very rich in iron. Those of you who are anemic, for women especially, sesame is a very good thing to eat. It also assists young women and makes their ovulation process much healthier. Blueberries or pomegranate, any one of these, depending on where we are. One of the most antioxidant-rich food that you can consume, reduces DNA damage, protect against aging and cancer. So many berries in India, bright colored ones, particularly in the south and western India, you will find lots of berries which have similar qualities. Sprouted fenugreek or methi as it's known, these seeds are fantastic blood cleansers, good source of protein and vitamins and minerals, very good for lactating mothers, great for hair and nail growth, reduces blood pressure, brings down blood sugar level, lower inflammation. These sprouted fenugreek or methi along with sprouted green gram or moong is very, very good for cognitive health. Those who are over 50 years of age must consume this on a daily basis, otherwise you may not realize, slowly you will lose it. Here are some olives, pickled olives. This is quite a few Lebanese around us, and this is a Lebanese sabotage. They're trying to turn me into a Lebanese, but here I got raw mango pickle to stay Indian. And vitamin C that the body produces an urge to consume such things. So raw mango, which is seasonal of course, but has tremendous benefits, and it also will make sure no matter where I travel, raw mango pickled especially if it's freshly pickled in this season. It was wonderful to see in Atlanta, a lot of people, not of Indian origin, people saying, "Sadhguru, I planted a mango tree in my house," and bringing a raw mango and giving it to me. And pickled mango ensures that I never get homesick.
The only substance found on the planet whose chemical composition is very close to that of human blood.
If it consumed raw, it has one kind of impact. If it is consumed in cold water, it has another kind of impact.
Walk 30 to 40 kilometers and you climb a minimum of 50 trees and get off up and down the trees. Until evening, there is nothing else. As you harvest honey, whatever comes on your hand, you lick that. So in a day, almost more than a liter and a half honey you're taking in. When you come back in the evening, there is some cereal, usually it's called jola, that's jawar, or it's like maize or ragi or something like this. Their main staple diet is honey. And you drink this 3/4 of a liter of honey and whole day you're so active but there is no hunger, you're just fired up like that. They live on this, they're called honey shepherds. Their diet is honey. Honey is one of the best things that you can consume.
Sexual capabilities.
If you cook honey, it'll become poisonous. Honey should not be cooked. I know people are baking it, cooking it in cakes and other things, it's not a good thing to do. Certain part of the honey turns poisonous if you cook it. You should put it in warm water, not in boiling hot water. If you put it in hot water, it sets off a certain kind of enzymes, behave in a certain way in the honey that it tends to take away weight from the body. If you put it in cold water, it behaves in a different way and accordingly it adds weight to the body. It is not that a few spoons of honey that you're taking is putting weight to your body. It is just that it sets off a certain reaction in your system that your absorption rate is such that you tend to gain weight.
So, honey, it has different types of impacts on the system. If it consumed raw, it has one kind of impact. If it is consumed in cold water, it has another kind of impact. If it is consumed in warm water, it's a different kind of impact. We want to consume it in warm water here because we want the system to open up. If you want to integrate the system just for health, somebody is feeling anemic. Anemia means on one level the blood has lost its iron, that means you lost your steel, okay? You lost the strength in the body, you'll feel exhausted, simply exhausted for nothing. Because once the necessary iron is not there, your ability to carry oxygen through the body is less. That means your body, your heart, your brain, everything will be on a lower level of function because you don't have enough oxygen. So, to take care of this, one of the simple things is you consume a little bit of honey in warm water on a daily basis and you will see slowly the RBC content will go up. If there's more oxygen in the blood, suddenly you feel a burst of energy, suddenly everything is active, the rejuvenation system in the body is going up, the dead cells are being replaced quickly. The level of inertia that you feel in the body is much lower, the level of inertia that you feel in your mind is much lower. So consuming honey will bring a certain balance to the circulatory system, which is very, very essential for a yoga practitioner because you're pushing the body in certain ways. So keeping the blood chemistry in a certain balance, keeping the blood pure will definitely happen with a regular consumption of honey, and it's very necessary for someone who practices yoga. And turmeric also does similar things, it purifies the blood and it brings a certain translucence to your energies. Turmeric is one substance which not only works on the physiology, it also works on the energy system, and it is also true with honey that it also has impact on your energy system. Honey makes you more vibrant. Turmeric kind of calms you and keeps you easy. Morning you're having a little bit of honey, neem and turmeric. So consumption of neem and turmeric with a mildly laced honey water, it should be very mild. Mildly laced honey water together acts as a wonderful way of cleansing the system, dilating the system, that when you do sadhana, one thing it brings flexibility to the muscles, another thing is because the dilation brings flexibility to the muscle, and that flexibility as a consequence becomes a way that you slowly build the system into a more powerful possibility. If you want to bring a new level of flexibility, one thing is, lot of toxicity has to go from the system. If you just go on water diet or honey and water diet, which will keep you energetic enough, if you are not already bone thin, if you can afford to use a little bit of weight, if you put honey, you won't lose weight also. If you add enough honey or you take spoonfuls of honey, you won't lose weight. If you do this for 7, 8 days, the amount of toxicity that you expel from the body is tremendous. If you do this, then you see suddenly you find your body is so much more flexible. Just experiment, don't believe all this. So, honey plays an important role. People who are doing yogic practice, it is good to consume honey.
You swallow these two things in the morning. These two things can do a miracle to your life. It's a great cleanser and also it takes away cellular inflammation. If you reverse this, you will see your day will easily last for 20 hours a day, very effortlessly.
Very happy to start my day to enjoy this breakfast with you, which looks very, very intriguing. Is this how you start your day?
Yes, the most important thing when we eat food is that we must understand food is what builds our body on one level. On another level, it is the main part of our fuel to run the day.
Right.
When I say main part of the fuel, there are other aspects of water, air, sunlight. So the entire aspect of eating food is to balance it as to which is more in your life. If you eat certain types of food, 70% of your energy requirement is coming from the food that you eat. That means definitely you will sleep for 6 to 8 hours a day.
Right, okay.
That means your downtime is 1/3 of your life. 1/3 of your life is gone without you knowing what happened. So, if you change the patterns of eating, and there are other aspects also, there is a yogic aspect to it, but if you eat like this, you will see the volume of food that you need will come down significantly. You don't have to restrain yourself just to this, what is there. But after that, if you eat also, the volume of food that you eat will come down,
right,
and your ability to get more energy from sunlight, air and water will increase. Right now, as I said, for most people, 70% is from the food. If you reverse this, that 30 to 40% is from the food, rest is from the other three, then you will see your day will easily last for 20 hours a day, very effortlessly. And you will live more, that's what it means.
Oh, okay.
Because everybody is thinking of living for more years, but is it not important that you live for more hours per day?
Per day, that's true, absolutely. But is this it, or is there going to be… is there more to your breakfast?
Well, there will be usually another pomegranate fruit.
Okay.
And if I'm going to be very physically active, let's say I'm going to play a round of golf, because 18 holes I walk, I don't ride carts and things like that.
Oh, okay.
So then maybe I will add some carb to it, maybe an idli or a chapati or something else, either wheat, rice or millet. Any of these things we add so that there is enough carb for the physical activity.
Right.
But if I'm just going into more mental activity and physically I'm not moving around too much, I'm sitting, this is it, and maybe I'll drink a glass of something. Usually we have certain very liquidy millet porridges and stuff like that, which you can drink like coffee.
Okay.
I mean, it's liquid.
Right.
So
I can see these interesting things laid out. If you can explain the significance of these, and very interesting, these yellow and green balls. What are these?
one is a freshly ground neem leaf ball, another is a turmeric ball.
Okay.
Turmeric we grow around here itself, which is absolutely organic in very rich lands. And neem, of course, comes from the trees. These two things can do a miracle to your life. First, you swallow these two things in the morning. Wait for 10–15 minutes so that it spreads. Because these two will bring down the inflammatory levels in your stomach lining, and also cleans up all the unnecessary bacteria that may be there. In case of any parasite, all that it'll be taken care of. And also it brings it'll bring a certain glow to you. Don't ask me why I'm not glowing.
You are always. So I've not eaten anything. You're supposed to have this empty stomach?
Yes,
neem and turmeric,
yes.
yeah?
Empty stomach and some amount of water, not too much water,
Okay.
so that it has enough water to spread.
Okay.
Right now what they kept is room temperature.
Yeah.
But at home when you do it, you drink tepid water, not hot water, just
Okay.
mild.
Just one of each, is it?
You can take all the four. Yeah.
Any warnings you want to give me? Neem is usually very bitter.
No, you swallow it like a pill. That's not neem anyway, that's turmeric.
Going a bit slow. Just swallow, not with water.
With water you can swallow, like a tablet.
Okay, now neem. Guys, I'm gonna have this. It's bitter, Sadhguru.
Then see, this is a way of acclimatizing yourself to life.
Not bad.
Once you eat something so bitter, whole day whatever people do to you, you feel it's fantastic.
That's a good trick. What else? I can also see there are some dry fruits.
This is sprouted methi, which is very important to bring cellular cleansing in the body. So you must chew this well till it becomes proper paste in your mouth and then swallow it. And this is soaked groundnut, soaked for over 6 to 8 hours.
Okay.
So this soaking is very important, and this is very high quality protein because these are organically grown groundnuts. See, the what do you say, the hybrid or even modified things will be this big nuts, they are not the thing to eat. These are original the way they are, the way they should be.
Right.
So this will take care of that, your protein also. And there are many other enzymes in it which are very, very vital. There was a time when for months I just lived on just groundnut and one banana.
For the entire
The entire day. It has all the nourishment you need. And this is of course almonds, this is for my international travel.
Okay.
Because this is not a local thing here, almond is not a local thing. They are growing, but not very popular. That's again a walnut, which is, you know, the benefits of the nuts.
Yes.
It matches with you, you know,
Why does it match with me?
because it's nuts. This is sprouted green gram, which is very high protein again, and the green part of it is very important.
Okay.
And it's very important, the almond is soaked and this is peeled. Because these kind of nuts have their own mechanism of self-defense. The moment you soak it in water, now the seed believes that it's going to be planted. We're going to disappoint him, but it believes that it's going to be planted and he's going to sprout and become a big tree and he's got his own dreams.
Right.
So when you sprout, what he does is, there is a certain carcinogenic chemical within the nut which comes to the surface just beneath the skin.
Okay.
So that insects will not eat him up, worms and insects will not attack at that time. So you soak it to give him a feeling that he's going to grow, and then peel it off, then you will see that carcinogenic is gone. Otherwise, when you eat an almond, you are eating that carcinogenic part without knowing that you're consuming it.
Oh, that's insightful. I didn't know about this. And just to talk, I got to wait for 10 minutes before I have all of this, right?
No, you can try.
I can. Okay, I will. As we speak, I'll probably begin with the almond.
You're not eating the methi.
I will.
That is bitter too.
Oh, is it?
And it's very good.
Okay, I will try.
It's a great cleanser and also it takes away cellular inflammation.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Are there any foods that one must avoid eating?
Aloo paratha, chola bhatura. What is that? Sabudana.
Butter chicken.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Only oranges for 1008 days this lady ate. She came out like she was 20 years younger. The digestive fires, if these fires have to burn, most effectively, fruit is definitely the best thing. Fruit can do miraculous things to the body. One can become very, very alive and active. Your brain works best. Ecologically, it's the most sensible thing to do.
Sadhguru, you have said that our psychological situation can be influenced by what we eat. Medical science is talking about how fruits and vegetables promote psychological wellness. Is there any significance to this? And is a predominantly fruit diet only for someone doing certain kinds of sadhana? Or is it also okay for people in regular situations involving work, family, or lots of physical activity?
In any machine or any kind of fuel that we use, the efficacy of the fuel essentially is in how easily it burns. Why the kind of gasoline you use for automobiles is one thing, what you use in the tractors is one way, what you use in a fast car is another way, what you use in an airplane is another way. Essentially, how easily it burns. You have seen in your gas stations about the octane levels, 87, 89, 90, 91, 93, 96. Well, when we were riding motorcycles, we would pay 3 times and buy 100 octane, because putting 100 octane, suddenly the motorcycle performs in a way that others cannot. So, you know very well, the most easily digestible food is fruit. Digestion means the taragni, the digestive fires as they are known. If these fires have to burn most effectively, fruit is definitely the best thing. Only those people who enjoy inertia, that means they enjoy part of them being dead. Don't think it's a joke. A lot of people do. A lot of people enjoy lethargy and inertia, unfortunately. That means somewhere life has not touched them. So, sleeping, intoxication, overeating and just lying down there feels better than being alive and active and dynamic in one's life. So only for such a person, fruit may be a problem because it'll keep you alert and awake. It doesn't keep you intoxicated, unless it ferments, of course. So it has that quality also, you just have to wait. One can know an extreme sense of joy and intoxication and a deep pleasure out of heightened levels of awareness also. But now the question is, can I be normal and eat fruit? Or can I eat fruit and still be normal? You know, even Adam started with a fruit. So, when we say fruit, we must understand fruit is one aspect which nature itself intends to be food, in the sense, most fruit, what you find, let's say a mango or an apple, being month of May, I refuse to talk about apple, I'll talk about mango. The seed is the important part of the mango. The flesh is only a draw, it's a lure, so that animals and birds will go for this and carry the seed somewhere far away and drop it. I think for this question, the simple answer is in your general practice of life itself. Suppose you are ill in a hospital, let's say, you're in a hospital bed, nobody brings you chicken biryani, isn't it? They'll bring fruits. Because even your friends and relatives understand that, okay, you're eating all that, you got sick, At least now you eat sensibly. That's a message. So fruit can do miraculous things to the body. Sufficient consumption of fruit can do great things to the system. One can become very, very alive and active, no matter what is your lifestyle. But if you're doing very menial kind of job, let's say you're digging outside every day physically, not with a machine, but you're physically digging and doing very hard work, then you may find every 2 hours you get hungry because of the fruit. Because there is only that much volume you can eat, but it gets digested so rapidly that you may feel empty stomach. Till you come to a certain level of awareness where you are able to be empty stomach and still be energetic. Because hunger is about running out of energy, it's like you're running out of battery, that's why you need to eat. But today, a lot of people, or most people I would say, when they feel little empty in the stomach, they feel like eating. To get out of this, you need a little bit of awareness that you're empty stomach, but still you're okay, because you're energetic. When your energy starts dipping, you eat. So if you go on a total fruit diet, you may have to either spend little more time on the lunchtime and eat slowly so that you ingest enough fruit. Because with little fruit you will feel full because it's generally sweet. So one has to wait and slowly eat. There is also a bio clock within us that, let us say, your normal meal, cooked meal, you're taking 10-12 minutes to eat. Even if you eat fruit, by the time you reach 10-12 minutes, your body says you've eaten enough. So you have to consciously eat more because it is timing you, it is not looking at the fill, it's just timing you. When those 10-12 minutes are gone, you feel you're full. So one has to go beyond that and consume enough. But if you're only on fruit diet and physically very active, it is important that maybe you bring 3 meals into your day, and most of you may already be doing it. So, 3 times a day, if you're sleeping 6 hours or 8 hours or whatever, for the remaining hours, 16 to 18 hours, 3 times eating is more than enough if you're eating fruit. But stomach will feel empty within 2 hours' time. So you must get used to hanging on with high energy but empty stomach. This is the time your brain works best, this is the time as a human being you function best, it'll be good for you. So if you want to use your brain power and also physical activity, it'll work perfectly well. But the fruit that you get in the market today, we don't know what it is filled with. There is a little bit of a problem. Because I clearly noticed this, the kind of country fruits that we used to eat when we were young, and today the farm-grown fruits that are coming to us, even in India, I mean here it's another matter altogether, even in India, they're not the same. They're much bigger, rounder, better looking, but this is like Botox. This doesn't work. I can clearly feel it's not the same level of strength and aliveness in it, simply because this is made for the market, not for the man. These fruits are essentially made for the market. This doesn't mean that they're totally a waste, but they don't have the same nutrient that it used to have. So, we may have to fortify it with some amount of other food. We must check and see what kind of fruits you're exposed to. And seasonally, there are a variety of fruits. It's very incredible that what kind of fruits the land produces at a certain time is most suitable for the system. There's a lot of study about this, how for those seasons when it's cold, when it's hot, when the moisture is very high, the right kind of fruit comes out of the earth. If you're eating from that area, but now you're eating fruit that comes from New Zealand. This is another matter. If you're eating from the land around you, you will see the right kind of fruit is coming to you at the right season. It's the best thing to eat at that time. Above all, it's ecologically a very sensible way to eat. Right now we are launching a campaign that everybody should turn at least 30% fruity. At least 30% of your diet should become fruit. Because if 30% of your food comes from the trees, not from plowed land and crop, ecologically it'll make a huge difference for the world. And if you're trying to shift from heavy meat eating to fruit, then you may find it's like you've eaten nothing because you're used to…
Needs milk, mother's milk is there, once that stage is over, there's no need for milk.
If you bring sufficient lentils, legumes, nuts into the child's life early, you will see they will grow up super healthy, you understand? Except for a couple of injuries. I don't remember whenever I took my daughter to a doctor. I don't remember, ever. Only a couple of injuries she had, with that I remember I went to the doctors. Otherwise, I never ever took her to doctor because food was just managed, that's all. And at an early age, if they develop a certain affinity towards fruits and this and that, they'll grow up with that and they won't like all hodgepodge stuff. So if allergies have to go for children, one thing is milk, another thing is meat products. If they're very badly allergic, if they're mildly allergic, it's okay. If they're badly allergic, take away the meat products, put them on lots of vegetables, fresh fruits and things, system will adjust itself. If they can start a yogic practice as early as possible, something as simple as a Surya Kriya or a Surya Namaskar, it could change the dynamics of the body very, in a way that you won't believe, you understand? In a way that you will not believe. A simple practice, what it can do. It's done that to me. It's done that to millions of people that I have seen around me.
The colon health is something that's completely neglected today. If you do not keep your colon clean, keeping your mind in a balanced state is very difficult. So in Ayurveda and Siddha, first thing if you say anything, you are having sleepless nights, you are having disturbed something, mild, any kind of psychological problems, first thing is purging. Purge the system, clean the colon, suddenly you feel little balanced. It is not a whole solution, but it'll bring the basic necessary atmosphere in the body to make the corrections. Either with medicine or with necessary practices, you can bring about correction. A yogi is always supposed to, have bowel movement twice a day.
See? Twice a day.
Because the colon should be always clean. If you want to do certain sadhana, colon should be clean, and we know this, that if the colon is in a certain level of impurity or if a certain level of waste material are in the colon and we do certain yogic practices, the body will start emanating bad smell. And it also gets into your head, for sure. So it is directly connected. If you retain the shit, it gets into your head and messes up your life in so many different ways. So the impurities in the body should go as quickly as possible. I feel a whole lot of doctors are saying you must eat as often as possible, don't eat a big meal, eat every 2 hours, something like this. See, when the food is in the stomach bag, not in the intestine, when it's in the stomach bag, when the digestive process is on the cellular level, the purification will not happen. The cells will retain impurities for a long period because digestive process is happening means everything else is brought down, including your brain.
Yeah.
So, in yogic system, there must be a minimum of 6 to 8 hours gap between one meal and the next. If that is not possible, at least 4 to 5 hours. 5 hours space is a must. Less than that means you're causing trouble to yourself.
In the yoga center, from 15th of December to 15th of January, this 1 month,
Because of very diminished influence of sun upon the northern hemisphere, a certain inertia tends to settle into all that is physical. The physical aspect of life tends to go into inertia mode. When the solar influence is at the minimal, diminished influence, inertia sets in. When inertia sets in, one of the consequences is your colon will not be clean. The simplest thing is this, that you keep the lymphatic system up, then keeping the colon will happen. There is something called as triphala. It's a magical three fruits of tropical world. Mixing them in the right way, the triphala, with a little bit of water or a spoon of milk or something, if you take it, or even honey, if you take it, the cleansing in the system will happen. But if you can't find all this, in southern India, we found one magic. This is called as castor oil. Just a little bit, half a spoon of castor oil every day. In the night, warm it, put it in water or milk and drink it up. You will see your colon remains clean and your lymphatic system gets active because the inertia levels in the body will go.
Black pepper. Here in United States, you're calling the chili also as pepper, not the green pepper. The black pepper, the peppercorn, is very highly pranic, and if you know how to use it properly, it can play a great role in keeping your arteries clean. All the spice is highly pranic, but they must be used in small quantities. If you use spices in very big quantity, then it lowers the hemoglobin content in your blood, it tends to make you anemic. But in small quantities, it's very good, it's very highly pranic.
There is substantial research to show that if you bring 30% fruits into your diet, the chances of lowering the heart or cardiac ailments will be less. Even the same thing goes for diabetes, blood pressure, liver problems and renal problems. All these things can be considerably reduced. There's sufficient data that fruit should become an important part of our diet. At one time when we were growing up, we could just pluck fruit anywhere and eat as children. But today, I don't think today's children can pluck a fruit anywhere because you don't see them anywhere. If you see, it is only in the marketplace. So this has to change, that we have to bring fruit back into our diet. Sprouted fenugreek or methi as it's known, these seeds are fantastic blood cleansers, good source of protein and vitamins and minerals, very good for lactating mothers, great for hair and nail growth, reduces blood pressure, brings down blood sugar level. Sprouted fenugreek or methi along with sprouted green gram or mung is very, very good for cognitive health. Those who are over 50 years of age must consume this on a daily basis, otherwise you may not realize, slowly you will lose it. This is karpu kavani arasi or black kavani paddy or rice. This is a unique form of rice, super nutritious, and at one time it was said only the kings should eat this. It is also been found to have potent anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer effects on the human system. It is also been found to reduce the number of human breast cancer cells, and it has slowed down the spread of breast cancer by use of this rice on a daily basis. So there are immense benefits.
Human ailments are of two different kinds. There are infectious diseases and chronic ailments. Infectious diseases happen to the body. An external organism invades the system and causes certain trouble, which has to be dealt with medication. But chronic ailment, what it means is, our own body is creating the problem. The disease is being manufactured in the system. Chronic ailments like diabetes, hypertension, cardiac ailments, asthma, allergies, obesity, eating disorders, and many of these kinds, which are all essentially generated from within, all these things can be quelled from within if only we are willing to pay a certain level of attention to the innermost dimension of who we are. These things can be altered just by bringing about a certain balance in the system, activating a certain level of inner energy. The inner engineering process is just about this, that you find access to this deepest dimension of intelligence and competence within ourselves, which is capable of generating this body, creating this body from what kind of material? If you eat a piece of bread, it turns into human system in a few hours' time. So there is that dimension of intelligence and competence within this. If only you found access to that. Health is not even something that you have to struggle with.
You know what this is? This is called a Rudraksh, okay? Rudraksh, as a seed, this tree mainly grows at certain altitude. Somewhere between 6,500 to 12,000 altitude is where Rudraksh grows in the Himalayan region. And it has very unique vibrations. It brings down the blood pressure in your system, your nerves will be calm. There are various types of Rudraksh, from a single-faced Rudraksh to 21 faces. These are for specific purposes. For people who are in family and social situations, the best thing to wear is always the five-faced Rudraksh. These are called Panchamukhis. A five-faced Rudraksh, if you'll see, there'll be grooves, you can count the faces. Five-faced Rudraksh is the best one.